Hello, this is Simzart, and today I'm going to show how to use the 3D primitives and 3D settings in Clip Studio Paint and how to use these tools to create some backgrounds for our artworks. In the previous video, we saw how to move the primitives, how to duplicate them, and some of the primitive settings. In this third and last video, we will see the final settings and how to create a scene using this 3D model. In the Primitive tab, among many advanced features, we can enhance the number of subdivision of the primitive, giving it a higher number of polygons and making it more precise. We can also toggle on and off the wireframe grid that covers the primitive faces. I would recommend leaving the wireframe on for this process since it's going to be a great visual aid for our background reference. The light source panel is a great way to change the direction of the light that shines on our scene. In order to move the light direction, we can click and drag our mouse on the sphere according to our needs. This will help us to get an idea of how the light is going to behave on the scene we're going to build. We can also change the color and the strength of the directional light and the ambient light, which is also another great visual aid for when we're going to color our background. For example, we can use blue for the ambient light and a slightly yellow tone for the directional light, emulating, respectively, the sky and sun color. Changing the light intensity above 1 usually gives us a very strong effect, so make sure to change the values in small increments. With all the tools I listed, we can now build the scene. For this exercise, I will create a very simple environment, using only the primitives in the primitive default materials available in Clip Studio Paint. If we are particularly happy with the edits of a primitive, we can also register it as a material, going in Subtool Detail, Primitive, and clicking on Register Material. Then, follow the instruction on screen. In this way, we can quickly recall some shapes in case of need. When we will finally have our scene ready, camera placed, and everything is where it's supposed to be, we can create a backup and then rasterize the duplicate layer, right-clicking on it in the layer window and then rasterize. This will turn the 3D layer into a raster layer that will behave like a picture. Optionally, we can then go in the Layer Property window and click on the circle icon in the Effect group. Then, change the expression color to monochrome. Clicking on the plus icon next to expression color, we can change the color and alpha threshold until we get the desired look for our reference. Then click on Apply Expression Color of Preview in the Layer Property window. This will embed the effect into our 3D model. This image, generated using 3D, can now be used to draw a background in different ways. Depending on the needed effect, we can eventually trace it, look at it as a reference while we draw freehand, or even use it as a background the way it is. Any method can be interesting if it's not used just as a shortcut to cover a lack of knowledge, but as a part of a specific aesthetic, maybe picked for time limits or because of a personal taste. I will now make a simple background based on this scene. With this process, we can easily create backgrounds based on a solid 3D model, particularly useful in many instances. For example, when we have to draw the same space from many different angles and we want to keep it consistent like in a comic, or if we need to get a visual aid in order to draw particularly difficult angles. However, I would recommend once again to have an understanding of the basics of drawing before attempting the techniques described in this video. With all that being said, we reached the end of this series. I hope that this helped, introduced, or inspired you into new ways of approaching the art of drawing. If you find this information useful, don't forget to leave a comment, a like, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, you can find more about my work on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time.